We got some Detroit Lions news for you folks today. In this video, the Lions made a signing. We're going to talk about the player, get into it, and give you my thoughts on it, as well as David Montgomery had something to say about his former team, the Chicago Bears. We'll dig into that. We always love and dumping on the Bears. And an article came out about the 3 worst moves the Detroit Lions have done so far this offseason. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions and you're not subscribed to this channel, what the hell? Hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel out. And let's get this thing going right now. The Detroit Lions have made a signing to beef up the offensive line here by getting a player, a veteran who has done it before. We're talking about getting offensive tackle, offensive line first round pick, Germain Ifedi with the Seattle Seahawks, with the Atlanta Falcons, with the Chicago Bears, 29 years old, to help out if there is an injury to Taylor Decker and or Penei Sewell. This is a great move because I think it was one of the positions, we've talked about it endlessly, I think, at least the depth-wise. What are things the Lions could do right now before, training camp, before the season starts? And I think one of those was, do you really trust Obena Eze to be your tackle for the Detroit Lions, a backup tackle? And a lot of people say, probably not. It's a little bit thin there at that backup tackle position. So they get Germain Ifedi to help that position out. And he's done it before. He has game experience. Is he the greatest tackle in the world? No, not at all. But he is a backup, better option than what we currently have. You got Matt Nelson, and you got the former undrafted rookie that we just talked about there to back up Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell. Look, if Taylor Decker goes down, the situation is probably Penei Sewell goes over the left side. But then you can take Ifedi and throw him to the right side if that's the situation. Does experience too as the interior offensive line at the guard position. There's absolutely nothing wrong with beefing up the offensive line and getting better depth-wise. That's what good teams do. That's what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell did in this situation. I approve the signing, and I gotta say right now I'm going to give this a B+ signing, not because of the player, not because any of that. It's because it's depth. Depth is important, so I'm going to give it a B+. Grade it in the comments below. I want to see what you think. Let's continue on here and talk about our guy, Mr. David Montgomery. He had something to say about the Chicago Bears when he was doing a little stream there with his buddy C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He says about the Bears, that's all I was used to. He's talking about losing. Montgomery said about losses in Chicago, and it got to the point where it sucked the fun out of the game for me because I'm a competitor. I like to compete. That's what football's about. It's so refreshing to be in a place where you are appreciated. Holy hell. We've heard this saying multiple times. We've heard phrases like this many times before. Generally, it's about the Lions sucking the life out of players with the losing here. But he's talking about Chicago because all they do is lose over there. The opposite of all we do is win. And it's good to see the suffering of the Bears players, because I'm sure he is not the only one that had this feeling. When you lose all the time, it does suck the life out of you. It sucks everything out of you. Just a couple years ago where we went 3 wins, it sucked the living life out of us. Me, you. And now you get David Montgomery who says, going to a place where you're appreciated. Winning culture, where you fight. Damn, that is refreshing. I absolutely love that he made this statement. New, energized running back for the Detroit Lions going into a situation where he's going to a winning culture in Detroit. A winning culture in Detroit. That is something we're not used to. Absolutely awesome to hear that from Montgomery. And he is correct 100% about that. Absolutely correct that that's a bad culture over there. And look, they gotten better. I do believe Chicago's gotten a little bit better. But at the same time, I just don't think they're going to be winners. We're talking about a winning football team for another year. And David Montgomery was ready to get up out of that mug and come to the D, where we win here. So, let Bears fans know how you feel by doing hashtag FCB, F Chicago Bears. I want to see your hatred for the Bears in the comments below. Now I got a question, though, for you. Do you agree with David Montgomery? Y for yes and N for no. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. I absolutely agree. I'm putting Y in the questions below. That's what I got going on. Let's continue on here with an article done by Fansided Sidelion here. The 3 worst moves the Detroit Lions made so far this offseason. I've already seen the names. I'm going to probably disagree a little bit on some of these and maybe agree. We shall see. But go to Fansided Sideline Report to get this article there done by Brad Berryman. So let's go ahead and read this bad boy. The 3 worst moves done this offseason by the Chicago Bears. And number 1, he says, seemingly to settle for kicker Michael Badgley as the kicker. Is this one of the worst moves the Lions done this offseason? I'm not going to say that. I think it was decent. Like, it's not a horrible move. It's not great. It's not the worst. Could they have upgraded? Yeah. Could they downgraded? Yeah. I think it's a middle-of-the-road move. I don't hate Michael Badgley. He's not a deep, big kicker. He's not going to kick for, some ungodly amount of yards or anything like that. He's just a player that's going to do what he does. That's really about it. So to me, it's not the biggest move in the world. I don't hate it. I don't love it. And I think that's kind of the way that Michael Badgley should be treated, in all honesty. So to me, I kind of disagree here. It's an move. An move. That's what it is. It's not a bad, it's not a good one. It's one of those things. Let's continue on here with the number 2 worst move, signing a 3-year deal to Alex Anzalone. I can get this. I understand it because I don't think I think a lot of people expected Alex Anzalone to come back. I did. I didn't think it'd be on a 3-year deal for sure. But let's be honest here. I think the deal definitely could be more or less like a 1-year deal. You can get out of the contract if you really wanted to after this year. I think it said 3-year deal, and a lot of people are like, what the hell? And at that time, I did believe that the Detroit Lions would absolutely pick up another linebacker in the draft. I thought it'd be round 2. They got one in the first round in 18. It is going to be, Jack Campbell is really going to be the guy for the future of this team. So I really don't mind it now, the Alex Anzalone deal. I didn't really mind it that much, but I get it, the distaste for getting Alex Anzalone for a 3-year deal. I'm not going to argue with him saying this, and I'm not going to argue with anybody else like my buddy TA, upset with this move. You can have that. Absolutely could. And I get it. Let's go to the number 1 move here that they have for the Detroit Lions. And it says failing to back up the backup quarterback talk. As you know, Brad Holmes talked about he wanted to make sure that the backup quarterback position was much better than last year. And he turned around and got Nate Sudfeld. But folks, he drafted Hendon Hooker, who's going to be the backup. He just won't be ready week 1. Okay? And they did offer Teddy Bridgewater a contract. So I think this is off base right now. And you know me, I've been talking about the backup quarterback position for a couple years now. But when you draft Hendon Hooker, pick 68 in round 3, that's going to be your backup quarterback when he's healthy. He'll come back like a Jamison Williams, and he'll be your number 2. Jared Goff is a guy that doesn't get injured that much, and so you got to wait a little bit. And they could sign Teddy Bridgewater again. The offer is still out there, and we don't know what the deal is to Teddy Bridgewater, but they did offer him a contract. Teddy's not signed. So they easily could sign him if they felt that Hendon Hooker may not even be back this year. I think he will be back. I think it's like a Jameson Williams timeline. I think he'll be put on the PUP list and eventually get taken off the PUP list, and he'll be on the active roster at some point. So I disagree with this 100%. They did fill up the backup quarterback talk. They did do it. You drafted a guy. And a hooker. A guy who should have been a first-round pick if he wasn't injured. He's not a bum. He's not a bad quarterback. And that's ridiculous. Hendon Hooker is a good quarterback. Damn good quarterback. Most accurate quarterback in college. 69.6% completion percentage. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. What the hell is us drafting him for? That is the backup guy for our beloved Detroit Lions. So I disagree with this one 100%. But let me know in the comments section, what is the worst move you have the Detroit Lions making this year? Let me know your worst move in the comments below. I think to me the worst move is not getting, I would have drafted a defensive tackle a little bit higher. That's my worst move, is not making a move like that. But I'm not upset about it because they did get Broderick Martin. And that's just my personal opinion right there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What is the Lions' worst move? We're dropping videos every single day, Monday through Saturday, so it's a little bit of live, more 6 days, and we're live on Thursdays. So get ready for that. We're definitely, we love doing our shows on Thursdays at 4 p.m. With that said, folks, adios.